Alright, let's start a sandbox campaign of the Day 3 late alpha release of U-Boat. Here we are. This is our U-Boat. This is the same this is the same U-Boat that we get. I'm gonna put it on pause here so we're not it's okay, it doesn't matter. If I just run it real time, it'll run kind of real time. It's 10 o'clock in the morning there. Okay, transmission from HQ. We'll go take a look at that later. This is the same U-boat that we are given in the 1939 tutorial, which is kind of weird. But in that sense, I guess you could say that we're a brand new captain and don't really have a lot of reputation, and so we're getting a substandard boat to start with. You could say that. This is the port of La Rochelle. I have not yet tried to see how far I can walk around the port. You can see it's all the way out to this jetty here. But it goes back in this direction quite a ways. Those are all trees. If you zoom in far enough on the main map, you will see all of these things here. Let's take a look. These are the crew people that you can play. You start off with a maximum of 5 officers. Officers come in, as far as I know, 3 different flavors. You have leaders, you have radio man or sonar man, I don't remember exactly what they're called, and then you have engineers. Allow me to change my captain a little bit. Go to menu, down to crew management. And boom. So you can see he has almost no experience points and he's level 1. Now we will pause here while I do some fun with him. Alright, here's Captain Kaze Reed. He looks pretty decent. You can give them skills. He starts off, I think he starts off with connections. The officer meets all class requirements for the missions in the headquarters. And leader. Leaders take care of crew matters and they control devices meant for visual observation. Here we have Hugh the Pooh. He volunteered from the Grogheads to be a radio man, and so here we are. And I've already got him assigned as a radio officer. Just because he's a radio man, he wouldn't necessarily be put as a radio officer. I could have him unassigned to a crew, or I could have him assigned to various things. The point to assigning a role to an officer is that when you're not controlling them and they're not exhausted and resting, then they will try to do things proper to being a radio officer or whatever. If you leave them unassigned, then they'll go around and do various things. They're not just going to do nothing, but this way he stays focused on doing what he's supposed to do. He can also cook and be a radio man. I'll adjust the other. I'm going to let him keep a cap, but this guy, I think Loris, what are you doing? Oh, you're loading torpedoes. Cool, okay. Well, while you're doing something useful then, let's jump in here and find you. Okay, there you go. Hey, buddy. Back up a little bit. There he is doing his thing. I'm going to let him pick up a couple of crewmen lying around, and they will help him out, and he will load them faster. Now they've taken down the bunk over here on this side so that they can get to the torpedo and prepare it, and then it gets loaded in here. We don't have a lot of spare torpedoes, so I would really prefer that he stop loading torpedoes. But we'll see. Where's West? Like I said, I'm going to work on his. I'm not the captain in ordering people around. These are the characters that you play in the game. And so Kohler's cooking. Kohler's the second-in-command officer. But I'm going to try to stick with Reed as much as possible here. Currently he's in, well, he's out looking around. I'm going to have him leave this position.
Rohr 3 geladen.
Okay. As you can see, all character models are a little bit short compared to the people that are around them. Well, that's not too bad. When you get into the conning tower here, however, it's hard to look over the conning tower unless you step up onto this thing. So, zip! There we are. Now I'm not looking at the conning tower. There's the searchlight. It's on the front of the conning tower. It cannot be moved around. There's the AA gun. Or the flat gun, as I like to call it. I click on the ladder, and that gets me into ladder mode. And I'm going to jog on out here. First thing I'm going to do is go talk to the recruitment guy. He's out making the midshipmen run around.
Kapitän, das kann deine neue Crew sein. Lassen Sie mich wissen, wenn Sie Ihre Dokumente sehen möchten.
Voice acting is definitely much better for German than it is for the English. English voice acting doesn't even have a German accent. They're all British accents of some kind. It's pretty terrible. Okay. These are the people on the ship, ready to go. There's my 5 officers. And I've got a fair number of seamen on their things, and I'm going to add another seaman here. So we've got a full complement of 18. There's also a spare radio man officer here, Klaus Hoffman. So if my radio man dies, I can have him. I can't give medals to anybody yet. There's my 5 officers. Say, well, it's kind of sorry that I have nothing for that officer to do. Well, there is something for that officer to do. That's what this guy is for. He is a leading officer for the Admiralty.
Beim BDU wird viel über Ihre letzte Patrouillenfahrt geredet. Gute Arbeit.
Gute Arbeit. Good work. I could ask for a few favors. I can do some orders for the Admiralty. Let's see
Dies sind die heutigen Aufträge vom BDU. Streng geheim.
I'm allowed to pick a mission here. I can travel to La Spezia port and report to a new leading officer. There's a difficulty high in doing that. I can patrol sector DH. Travel 2,000 kilometers inside it. Once you get into that sector, I just travel around for 2,000 kilometers. And that completes the patrol. Although I could get extra orders. I can do some espionage at the Cardiff docks. Transport our spy unharmed to these coordinates near Cardiff docks. May get additional orders to help the spy with carrying out his mission. Or I can join La Spezia port flotilla. Well, let's back up a minute. Let's take a look at what we've got there. Okay, here we are at... we're down here. The map should be spherical. I have seen screenshots to the effect that it is spherical. And you can turn on spherical and flat oceans so that instead of the ship fading out into the distance, it goes over the edge of the world, so to speak. Considering it's... oh, yeah, the United States isn't at war with us yet, so these are neutral ports. Britain already is, though. There's Cardiff docks. Alright, I could go to La Spezia. That would be Italy. Yeah, let's do that. Now that means that I've got to get through this area. So once we get here though, man, we should have it easy. It should just be great times, right? Seems like a good way to chill out, have some fun. have ourselves a nice vacation. It would be great if they would send us to the port of Bergen, and then we'd get to go up here and do crazy things up in the ice up here. Take a look at the map, by the way. Yeah, see this area up here? Yeah, this is actually a thing. You can go up there and do things. There's one little thing here in this grid, and you could be told to go here and do things. So how far does this map go? Well, this is an areas of operation that we can, but technically the map goes all the way over here to the Kamchatka Peninsula and out as far as this area of Russia would you'd start running into the Aleutians. It goes down as far south as, gosh, here we have, that would be a fun area to mess around in. There's Australia. Yeah. And there is Caprona down here. We can go down here and find some dinosaurs. The giant empty waste, Sumatra and Java. There's Vietnam, China, Japan, Korea. There's Sri Lanka, the Indian subcontinent. This giant waste here. I guess that's, I'm not sure who owns that in 1941. It might be Persia. There's the Arabian Peninsula. Yep, there's the Horn of Africa. All of Africa, Madagascar. This is now getting into patrol areas. We could be told to go down and patrol GZ. Yeah. Not sure there'd be anything there to patrol, but we could be told to do that. Here's South America. We could be told to go down here. We wouldn't be told to patrol this area apparently, but we could be told to patrol this area. How's that? I guess because we're allowed to go through the Panama Canal, which is a neutral canal run by America. It's neutral at this point. And we wouldn't be allowed to go patrol up here, but we could be allowed to patrol part of Mexico or whatever. So yeah, we could get up in here. Could we patrol the Great Lakes? That would be kind of interesting to see if I could get in there. No, you can't quite get to there. You can't quite get to the Great Lakes. Not yet. The Great Lakes are shown on the map, but they're not real. How far in can I go? I'm not sure there's anything even here. You can get pretty far up the St. Lawrence. That would be amusing. I'll do that one of these days. So that gives you an idea of what's available in the world. Pretty much it's the whole world. It's the whole globe. It just doesn't look like a globe right now. Okay. So yeah, let's do that. That sounds fun. We'll go to La Spezia. We'll be one of the few submarines operating in this area. If we get over here, we get some nice juicy pics. It'll be great. We get to have a vacation in Italy. Whole crew, as long as they survive. Ah, ha, 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 ha. All right, we're going to check the transmission from HQ here and see what it says. They may have special orders for us. Now he's working the Enigma machine, I imagine. Let's take a look. We'll click on this button and it immediately goes over to him. Oh, he earned 10 XP. Great. Our radio man received new messages. To click this notification to open your message log. Miscellaneous communication from Berlin. Have a fruitful patrol. Okay. I will. Yep, we're going to join the La Spezia Port Flotilla. We'll probably die on the way. Let's ask for a few favors. I can't because I don't have enough favorage. This would be nice. Be able to upgrade my crew. Free roam would give me the right to leave ports without any assignments from the headquarters. Then I could travel up the St. Lawrence Seaway. Ooh. Opens up the possibility to send officers on missions in headquarters. Yeah, I think I can do that already. What do they mean? Well, start a new operation here in headquarters. Like, having a snorkel would be really nice. You notice it's located in Holland, because that's the term is Dutch. Some of the Dutch submarines that we captured use a curious device called by them a sniffer. It's a pipe system that allows them to use diesel engines while staying at periscope depth. It's hard for me to read this because it's small font. And I could send an engineer to go help, except I'd rather keep my engineers right now. So, no. Hydrophone. With our current GHG hydrophones, while they are very effective and outmatch enemy technologies, they don't ensure full direction coverage for listening. A group of engineers created a simple prototype device that carries a set of microphones able to rotate around one axis. It seems to be a very promising project, but still needs work before being integrated into our U-boats. Yeah, right now if you go to the hydrophone and you take it over for manual, you hear nothing. I mean, it's just mush. I don't know how it can tell any direction, because it's impossible to... I don't know. Anyway, they can tell direction somehow. So can I do that? Well, I can try. I have a feeling it really should not allow me to do this, because according to that I still don't have permission from headquarters to send off extra officers on doing these tech missions. Okay. But you're doing that, okay. Okay, knowing that, let's get to the warehouse.
Was brauchst du, Herr Kaloy?
I want to upgrade my ship. I can only upgrade default conning tower for type 7C U-boats. I can get a Tier 1 conning tower. Term in German is tier. It's heavier and more armored than the default conning tower. Is also equipped with two additional Breda AA guns. This would be great. I would need 10,000 to do that. It's really. Research to unlock this upgrade is available in the headquarters. Okay, yeah, well. Also, I've got to buy it once I research it. So I won't be getting that. I can't afford it. But what else have I got?
Schau mal.
Alright, I have technically... there's one storage room area on the ship. Presumably it represents storage areas all over the ship. As you can see, we have some scrap metal that we can make spare parts from. The 6 pieces of scrap metal I can turn into salvage spare parts from it at a ratio of 2 to 1, so I can get another 3 out of that. Having spare parts is immensely important, especially where we're fixing to go. So there's equipment, there's food. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have some canned meat. Keeps the morale up. Here's some large caliber AT ammo and some high explosive, I think this is actually supposed to be gun ammo. Fuel. Yeah, we might as well pick up all we can get. That didn't cost much. It's only $1 a ton. Torpedoes. Into the torpedo storage. Alright, let's get an electric torpedo in the rear. And I'm going to send these back for credit. And that back for credit. And get electric torpedoes as much as possible. They're slower, but they don't point back to me. And that's handy. Breathing items, I've got a couple of those. They're handy. Diving bell. Small arms may be useful for officers going on dangerous missions outside. I can make a few more. This is probably enough. I've got 8 here. Somehow I spawned one. I'm not sure how that happened. But I've got 8 here, and I can make a few more. Oh, I wonder if one of my engineers may be making these, actually. Because I know we had more than those previously. These dates you see along the top represents the cash that we still have. Reputation. Progress to gain the next reputation point. This is, as this fills up, this tells us when our next reputation point will rise. Discipline is pretty good at 98% right now. We've got normal lighting, so it's 10%. Oxygen, the crew's using 4 a minute, but we're sitting on the top of the ocean, so we've got fresh air. Fuel is 100%. Battery capacity is 80%. Currently the gyro compass is eating some battery, but once we start up the diesels, we'll be good. Speaking of starting up the diesels, he's working on the diesels, so let's hip you out.
Kaloi? Jawohl.
Jawohl. Okay. I'm using the right mouse button and scrolling it to zoom out. Our diesel motors. Forward up.
Schneller, schneller!
There we go. I can tell the rudder manually to kind of
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
turn right just a little bit on the rudder to get us away from the dock. We've got some rain coming in, looks like. Pilot out here where I can see what's going on. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, which brings up my manual control panel.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
I wouldn't call it coordinates exactly, but okay. Map. I can do that with an M, or I can hold down the I can hold down the Alt key. Click that here. Use the right mouse zoom wheel here. And now that we've cleared the queue, we can essentially, I'm going to right click here,
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
take a hard left,
Kurs setzen.
you'll notice as I zoom in, it lifts pieces of the thing off and puts them back on, which is a nice little touch. Okay, now that we are
Schneller, schneller!
let's kick it into gear. Read a couple of extra guys on the lookout here. Send a report out. Earned ourselves a little cash by doing so, I think. Now my
Kapitän?
officer manages the diesel engine unlocking the fourth gear forward.
Aye, aye, Herr Kalol. Aye, aye, Herr Kalol.
Have some extra people to help him out. You'll notice that this also unlocks gear number 5. Like the little touch there that you can see your hands pulling yourself down away from the conning tower. Here we go. I'm just hanging out on the gun to be safe. This thing, by the way, honestly, I don't know what that does on the boat. But at any rate, it's physically there. I can't get through it. See? I can go under it. I can't get through it. I'm unsure if I can jump off the boat here. This thing is well, it's a bow line. I mean, it's where they tie up. But you can also hook that up for the diving suit to get down. Now the boat's following the commands, the pre-flight commands I said to get out past these this area. That green dot, I think, is the Italian port. I'm not sure. Kind of, yeah, sort of is. That's the Italian port. That's our target. It would be funny if I got on the thing and tried to walk there. I mean, for all we know, we get out here and discover there's some kind of battle group sitting out here. It's a tiny group, whatever it is. Apparently only one. I'm going to hold down the shift key, and when you do, you can see another plot coming off of that. We'll do this.
Legen Sie den Kurs an!
It's not really changing course so much as adding course. Yeah. And once I do that, we'll go directly across the Bay of Biscay. So while we're doing this, let's take a tour around the ship from a first-person perspective. We'll do that from the perspective of somebody who will do the captain. Okay. You can see he's going down the ladder here.
Diese Routine bringt mich um. Jeden Tag das Gleiche.
The contrast doesn't allow you to see down the hole sometimes, but sometimes you can. So, are you going to close the hatch? I guess I am. Sometimes I do, though. Hey there. He's in the conning tower, and he's got a bunch of things that he's working on. Here's the attack periscope, which I can sit here and work on if I need to.
Jeden Tag das Gleiche.
You've got to have a captain or a executive officer to work on the scope. Now we're down fully into the control room. The green dot represents the represents where we're going. So we have some nice little repeater things here. Navigator station.
Jeden Tag das Gleiche.
There's an echo sounder so we can tell what the gives us a quick ping as to how much keel water we've got under the keel. There's the gyro compass. We can turn that on and off. Saves the battery and creates a little sound. Here's the observation periscope. Not to be confused with the attack periscope. Although you can make an attack with it. If we decide we're going to go up or down, we have to flood the valves. And then somebody needs to get on the depth steering to help with the ability to keep the boat from broaching. It works the planes at the front and the back of the boat, so it'll dive underwater and come back up again. The game automatically moves you through the holes here, ducks you in to get in and out. This is where the captain chills. And I can tell him to go rest there at the skipper's desk. Flotilla station at Las Pisa port needs more U-boats under its command to achieve the current goals. Your order is to travel to the target port. Report to the new leading officer. Yippee. And if we can sink some enemy tonnage along the way, great. Nobody's in the radio room at the moment. I'm going to hold down tab. Brings up our officers. He's in the officer. He's taking a rest. He's in the officer bunk.
Herr Offizier?
So is Lors. Newman and Leo Lors are both resting. There we are in the shipman bunk, which is also where they store the torpedoes and fire the torpedoes from. I am honestly unsure where the other torpedoes are. Did they not load on? I bought them. That's weird. I feel like there should be some more torpedoes here. I think there's only room in this sub, however, to carry 6 torpedoes in the front. 4 in the tubes, and 1 under this bed, and 1 under that bed. I can sit here and play cards. Not really, unfortunately. It just kind of sits there and does things. Here's a nice desk. Alright, that guy brooming over there, that is not a, that's not just, you know, local color or stuff for something to do. I've got the option turned on where I've got realistic bilge, which means that the submarine sweats and condenses water, which gets on the ground even when there's not a problem, and it gets worse when you go underwater. So they do go around the map. Alright, what time is it? Must be lunch. Yeah, they're having an early lunch. Hi guys. Dietrich and Stephen Meyer. They're brothers. There's Eric Schwartz. When it says take command, that means I can put them under my immediate commands the same. I'm running the Alt key down to do this. It'd be the same as clicking this to add a sailor to my command, so I can have they can follow me in doing specific things. Somebody here in the galley. One of the officers is a little cook. How's the discipline going? Discipline is great. Once discipline starts dropping down, we'll start adding more stuff to it. And currently they're just eating cheese. This is the bathroom, or the toilet rather. Inside the storage room, or the various things. I guess somebody was working. See, you can assign people to work on doing various things, including at a table, that will turn your scrap, turning scrap into useful spare parts. But you don't, I mean, these are not things that you have to necessarily order people to do. They just do them. People complain about a lot of micromanagement in this game, but there's really not all that much micromanagement. Excuse me. There's really not a lot of micromanagement. The people on the board will do things based on how much skill they have, and they earn experience points for accomplishing various things, and they do them better. But if you want them to do specific things, then you can order them to do that. Alright, these are the compressors for, there's one that's electric, runs off the battery, and then one on diesel. We don't need any right now. Here's the torpedo launcher. We've got apparently one stern torpedo in storage, but I sure don't see it. The compressors send, fill up the tanks of compressed air while we're on the surface. And the compressed air pushes water out of the, when we want to sink, we flood the tanks on the left and right of the sub. Using compressed air, we push water out of the tanks if we want to go back up. It lightens the submarine. Okay. Oh, I can't climb up because I hadn't opened that. Everything's going up here. It could be better.
Sehr wohl, jawohl, Herr Kaloy.
Pick up a couple of people nearby. Guy out there taking a smoke break. Doom, doom, doom.